Jai Gurudev. Welcome to this masterclass with me, Sahil Jagtiani, where we'll be talking about my song Ganesha Om. It's one of the first songs I've written. I think it was in 2000. I couldn't say literally I wrote it. It was given to me. So, songs are always given. They're never written as such. But yeah, so as a songwriter, it's important to have the skill set to basically put across your ideas and also create a soundscape of chords that support the vocal melody when you're singing. You don't want to be in a situation where you're doing too much with chordal structures and it's not supporting the singer and it's just putting them off. No matter how beautiful the soundscape is, if it doesn't match the vocal melody, it's not doing justice to the song. So that's the primary concept when I look at a song, when I'm decoding a song, I'm putting chords to it. That's the process. So we'll get a lot more into it now. The song Ganesha Om, it's a very simple song. It's going to be in the key of C major. The major scale is the mother scale. All other scales in Western music refer back to it. For example, the intervals of the major scale are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the minor scale would be 1, 2, 3 flat, 4, 5, 6 flat, 7 flat. When we're looking at it from the Hindustani perspective, it is known as Bilawal, Thaat, and basically it is Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa. No komal swaras, no tivra swaras, just straight up Shuddh. And basically a very easy scale to play. So that's why I chose it. I wanted to show you, even with an easy scale, how deep you can go into a song structure just for 3 simple chords. I'm going to get more into that in a bit, but let's play the song first. Here's the song. Ganesha Om, Ganesha Om, Ganesha Om, Gao Ganesha Om. Ganpati Bappa Moria, Ganesha Om. Ganpati Bappa Moria, Ganesha Om. Simple, 2 lines. This is the original version. Of course, I have created some more lines after that. But the song is, in its essence, only two lines. And the chords we use are basically 3 chords, okay? The C major chord, the F major chord, the G major chord. Now, whenever you are decoding a song or putting chords to a particular song, you must know the scale it's based on, and you must know the chords that are allowed in the scale. For example, when you're playing any song in the major scale, keeping it relatively simple, if we just look at the major minor chords allowed for the C major scale, when I say allowed, I mean which don't create dissonance, which don't create any bum notes. The first chord would be obviously your C major. The second chord, your Re is D, so that would be a D minor. Your E note would be an E minor chord, that's your Ga. Your Ma would be an F, and that would be an F major. Now, the F major chord, for example, has F as its root note, it's Sa, it's 1. Its third note, or its Ga, is going to basically be A, and its Pa is going to be C. So these 3 notes are a part of the C major scale. The C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, for those of you who don't know. The F major chord notes, the Sa, Ga, Pa, which constitute the major chord, okay? Those of you who are learning music should know this for sure, that a chord is nothing but the first, the third, and the fifth of that note's major scale or minor scale, okay? If it's a minor chord, it's from the minor scale. If it's a major chord, it's from the major scale. So in this situation, F, A, and C are the 3 notes from the F major chord, and they fit in perfectly with the C major scale. You saw all these 3 notes are there. The other chord we use is the G major chord. G major chord constitutes of a G, a B for the Ga, and a D for the Pa for that particular chord. So the 3 notes for the G major chord are G, B, and D. And those notes are also present in the C major scale, hence that particular chord is allowed. So like I said, F is your Ma Ka chord, the major chord. The Pa chord, the 5th chord, is your G, like I said right now. The sixth chord would be an A minor. You can't use an A major because that utilizes a C sharp, which is not there in the C major scale. But the A minor chord is basically an A, C and an E, so it works in an A minor in a C major song as well. And for B, well, I would say don't bother playing it because it's B diminished and it won't turn up so much in most of the songs. So that's just basically like a cross. So these are the 6 basic chords that you can use on any major scale song. The first will always be a major, the second will be minor, third will be minor, fourth will be major, fifth will be major, sixth will be minor. Having that formula, you can go ahead and place your chordal structures. Of course, you can have add 9s, you can have 11, 7, major 7s. It's possible, but my suggestion would be, first start simply and then build on from there. And for each chord structure, know, okay, what is the note that's coming in. For example, the C major scale, if you're playing a G major and you have a dominant 7th chord, which is basically a G 7th chord, and it involves an F, that will work in the C major scale. However, a G major 7th chord, which involves an F sharp, will not work in the C major scale. It will create dissonance. You might want to create tension and resolution, but that's a whole another ball game altogether. And it's always good first to approach music in its pure form, support the notes that are being sung, support the chordal, support the scale structure with your chords. Then later on you can look into all those, little, sprinklings of, added chordal structures, tension and resolution. But first always try and keep your song simple so that the singer isn't put off by it. Of course, during your BGM, you can, do what you like with the movement of the chords. But anyway, back to the song now. We're going to be playing this song, like I said, in the C major scale. I'll show it to you in box 3. That's the C major scale in box 3. I'll use the 2nd octave. I'll regard this as my Madhya Saptak, my normal octave. There will be one note from the lower octave, the Mandara Saptak. And there will be one note from the Tar Saptak, the higher octave, which will be your Sa star over here, your higher Sa, okay? Let's start with line 1. Sa sa re ma ga sa re sa sa re ma ga re ni sa. Line 2. Sa 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 ni pa 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 dha pa pa. Sa 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 re ma ga re ni sa. So these are the swaras of this particular song. Now whenever you're breaking up the song, decoding the song, you have to look at the number of enunciated syllables. Those are basically your swaras. Don't sing them in a legato style, in a stretch style. Try and cut them into a staccato formation, like a shorter formation. For example, this song, line 1 would be Ganesha Om, Ganesha Om, Ganesha Om, Gao Ganesha Om. Now, if you stretch each swara and sing it, you might get confused if there is another swara or not. So always break it up in a staccato formation and then place them in the time signature points. Then you yourself can see, okay, I can stretch, this note stretches this long. Sometimes we get confused on the starting points for some notes if is there too much of a stretch with the earlier notes. So keep in mind, whenever you're decoding, use staccato, find those number of swaras that are there for the vocal melody and place them into a time signature sheet. I'll be doing that in a bit, where we place these swaras into an 8th note time signature point. Wherever there is a 16th note point, wherever 2 notes have been played faster, we will stuff both those notes into one box of the 8th note time signature sheet. Now, whenever you place a chord, one of these 6 chords which I talked about, The chord's job is to cover the number of swaras that have been played during that particular section, during that particular half bar or bar or quarter bar, of the song. So the chords should cover the vocal melody to support the singer. Now, you might want to add a lot of chords and say, okay, here, there is an opportunity to put this chord over here. There's an opportunity. Sometimes you have to look at it from this perspective. One, does the chord cover the notes? Two, how does it sound? Now, there may be two chords which cover the same notes, the number of notes, but one chord may not fit nicely in terms of the other two chords which are on the left or the right of it, okay, before and after. And you might want to keep that in mind. Third, can you actually play this chord? It's wonderful to have it like on theory, let's put like 17 chords in one song, but can you play it live? And especially when it's going fast, that's also a consideration. And the fourth and the most important thing is, how does the overall sound come across? If you're singing a happy song and you're putting a lot of minor chords in that, maybe it might create too much tension and not that much resolution. So maybe you might want to just keep it more simple. All these things you must keep in mind whenever you're decoding a song and adding chords to it. Okay. Now let's go in detail into the note sheet for this particular song. Like I said, I'll be putting an 8th note, spreadsheet for you to better understand the swaras of the song. So as you can see over here, I have laid out the swaras and the notes in an 8th note, formation for you all. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and would be 1 bar. Okay, so each of the chords is played for half a bar. I've tried to keep this as simple as possible for beginners to play so that it's easy for them. I have followed a format of covering the most amount of enunciated notes and their stretch duration with those particular chords to give backing to the vocalist. These are all in your normal octave range. This is in the mandra saptak in the lower octave. So I put a star before the swara, star before the note to indicate that. Where there is a star after the swara and after the note indicates it's on the tar saptak or on the higher octave. Let's start with line 1. You can see I've created a very simple chordal structure for this. So C, F, C, G. In this, the C is covered obviously with the C major chord because that's a root note. This is a discarded note. But actually, if you look at it, the ga, ne is actually going over even the 2 point. It's a stretch note. So basically, you're covering 3 out of 4, which is great. All right, that's an ideal situation for a chord to be covering a majority of the notes. Here, of course, there's only one note, F, and that's covered with the F major chord. Here we've covered E, we've covered C, and this extended note from the ne as well. So basically 3 out of 4 is done. This is discarded, but it's creating resolution at this point with this G chord. Since the 5th note of the G major chord is D, this sort of leads to that. So that's a good resolution point. That's a very nice way of finishing that particular half of the line. If you look at this, again, same situation, FF. The E is not covered. I could have put a, F major 7th chord over there to cover that E, but we want to keep it simple. We don't want to have it too complex. Here, it's perfect because the 5th note of the G major chord is D, and the 3rd note, the Ga, is B. So covers all these notes. C resolves back to the end of this, and you can start again with the C. So easy to remember. Basically, you want a chord formation also that's easy to remember if you're a beginner. You don't want something too complicated. Now coming to line 2 is where we have the 16th note point over here at Pati on both the halves of this line. These are played in double time, so obviously you've got 2 notes in this 8th note point structure, so these are actually 16th note points. It's fine, not a problem. Here also 16th note. So 3 places where it is, so that's okay. We just, we can't have 1 E, any 2 E, any 3 E, any 4 E, any on the Excel sheet, it'll become too large. Anyway, back to this. This line here, ideally, the G could have started here, or you could have a C major 7th chord. But since it's for beginners, this is fine. 3 out of 5 is also okay. It's not ideal, but it's fine. Here, the G and the B are being covered by the G major chord. The B again is the Ga note of the G major chord. And here we have A. Now this, again, Ganesha. So Gane is going over the 2, and your A note, which is the third note of the F major chord, is actually covering one whole beat, and you're discarding this. You could play an F add 9 chord that would cover everything, but again, this is for beginners, so we don't want to complicate the chordal structure too much. We're coming back to C over there. Felt nicer than going to G. I did experiment with that. And here, so if like 2 chords work, you can always try them in the same position and see which one sounds better to you, and then make a call on that. So that's what I did for this particular section. Then here again, you're covering 4 out of 5 of the swaras, so that's fantastic. This is discarded. You could put a C add 9 again over there, but why complicate things? F again, here is where you're sacrificing these 2 notes, but in this situation you are seeing the mo is actually carrying over to the the and as well, so it's an extended note. So actually it's 2 out of 4, which is not too bad, and it creates some kind of basically a easy pattern, because the second half of line 1 and the second half of line 2 are both the same chords, so that's easy to remember. That's another factor. And although this is not covered, this again creates tension for resolution here with this G chord. So D is covered by the G chord, B is covered by the G chord, and of course you end with the C. And that has been my approach, basically, to find the right chords at the right signature points. You could complicate it, of course, but the more complicated it becomes, the higher the tempo, the more difficulty there is in playing that particular chordal structure. So keep everything in mind. Always keep in mind covering the notes, the majority of the notes. How does it sound overall in terms of, instead of putting a C there, if I put a G there, how would it sound with the F before and the C after? Keep all those things in mind. Play them. See, experiment. There's no right or wrong with this. It's just what suits you and how you can deliver your song best with the chords that you have laid out in this particular structure. So I hope that was an interesting video for you all. Music is like an ocean, endless. Just 12 notes. Just 12 notes. 10 Sukshma Swaras, I know, but 12 notes in essence, and those 12 notes can produce an infinity of possibilities. So whenever you approach music, never approach music with an attitude of I know it. Approach music with, oh wow, I can do this, I can do that, I can work around this structure, I can work around that. The moment you have an openness towards music, more secrets are revealed to you, and you start to enjoy yourself. Music shouldn't be just, a parrot, regurgitating what its owner is telling them. It shouldn't just be reliance on a chord sheet or on a, treble clef, sheet. You should hear the song, be able to gauge the song, be able to put nice chords to it, use theory to put the notes down. I mean, this is something I learned in my first album when I was recording Aftaran, this song specifically. There was a very senior artist who came in, and I told him, it's a very simple song, sir. It's in the key of C, and it's basic melody in Bilawal, Shankarabharanam for the Carnatic classical artist. And he was a very senior artist, and he was like, please sing it to me. So I'm like, sir, why you need me to sing? You'll hear it anyway, you'll finish it in 2 minutes. It's just a short BGM. But no, sing me the whole song. So I sang him the whole song. Then he wrote down all the swaras of whatever I sang. He wrote down the vocal melody. And then he just produced a masterpiece in the solo section. And then I went to him later and I said, so why did you need me? Because the chords were so simple, everything was so easy for you. Why did you need me to tell you, the swaras of this particular song? And he was like, when you want to build a building, you must know the foundation you're on. So he said, when I know the foundation properly, then I can create a masterful building for you. So whenever you are decoding a song, do it justice, go through every note that has been sung in that song, make sure that the chords are properly matched. And then, of course, you can add to it, you can better it if you want to a little bit here and there. But always first decode the original the way it is, and then you can add your sprinklings if you want to. But some songs are beautiful in their original shape, just like this one. I've heard many strange versions of this song, But it's okay, that's how it is. Still, the song in its essence is very, very pretty, and I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Jai Gurudev.